This podcast contains strong language and adult themes from the outset.
Finding the funny. Finding the funny. With Ruth and Ange, finding the funny.
This is not always the way that we start our podcasts, but on a live last week, we had a woman in there that told us about her friend Pete.
Yeah.
And I think we both wanted to acknowledge this, didn't we?
Absolutely.
Pete, very sadly, I don't know exactly when, but very sadly took his own life. He listened to Finding the Funny as a result of his friend saying you should give this a listen. She's messaged me a couple of times and said how much he absolutely loved it. He left behind a little boy, I think, and, you know, I don't know. I just feel like we just needed to acknowledge at the top of this episode that we're thinking of Pete's family and his friends, and we're so pleased that for a little bit of time we were able to bring a little bit of joy.
Some joy, yeah.
And
I think it's just kind of, you know, that was something that really hit me and us, I think, because you just sort of realise that actually, you know, last year and the start of this year are really tough times, and I'm sure there are lots of people that are really struggling and have struggled a lot. And yeah, it was just important, we felt, that we sort of acknowledged Pete and his family. And
so Pete, this one's for you, mate.
This is for you, Pete.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, pet Shanes.
This is the first time we've spoken since the back end of last year, because we wanted to keep this real on here. So we wanted our Happy New Year to be genuine.
I think, Pats, the thing is, we probably were starting to get on each other's tits a little bit, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think we needed a break from each other.
I'm surprised. What gets on my shitting tits from you wasn't
you.
Just Patty. But on the Happy New Year thing, we had a couple of people, didn't we?
We did, yeah, cutlers, yeah.
Maggie and Louise on the gram asking about when you should stop saying Happy New Year.
Yeah. I mean, basically for me, it stops, I'd say sort of mid-Jan. If you go 15th of Jan...
Yes.
Up to that point, fine.
Yeah.
You know, especially
that.
people that you haven't had any contact with.
Sure.
Back in the work vibe. Happy
the
New
working
Year,
males,
Trisha,
all of that.
Trisha,
Sandra,
is fine.
Derek. Yeah.
Post the 15th, you should not still be bringing out the Happy New Year shit.
People who are saying it in Feb.
Yeah. Mate.
Fuck off.
We've done a month now.
God.
We don't need to keep banging on about wishing people a happy new year. Yeah. So, I think that's really the sort of time frame I personally work to.
Yeah, that's like me.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you saw, Ange and I are massive fans of Daisy May Cooper. If you're new to the podcast and you don't follow Daisy May Cooper, go and find her. She is responsible for a brilliant programme with her brother on BBC called This Country. And I don't know if you saw on her Instagram, Ange, that she put up a picture of a metal detecting book.
No.
On a grid between Christmas and New Year, right? And this is what she put. I got this metal detecting book from my mum and dad, and I don't even own a metal detector. What's the most mental gift you got today, you bastards? And it's just absolutely
brilliant.
Cracked me up. They bought her it's called Permission Impossible.
Permission Impossible.
And it says underneath, metal detecting search permission made easy.
That is just I mean, that's your classic Daisy May Cooper.
She
and
hasn't
family.
Even got a metal detector.
Well, she's going to get that for her birthday, isn't she? She knows what's coming now.
What was the most mental? Did you get any shit gifts?
No, I don't think I did.
Neither
actually.
did I.
No,
I did really well.
I mean, to be honest, Pats, I didn't actually get that many gifts.
Oh,
yeah, you know, I feel like this is the space I can sort of open up about it now. But yeah,
you know why that is, don't you? Because you've got kids.
Yeah, is that bastards?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most joyous times for me, where I'm like, yes, don't have kids. I still get money from aunties and uncles. I still get little gifts wrapped from them. I'm like, bollocks to having kids, mate.
Tell you, mate.
I've got about 75 quid in cash here. I wouldn't have got that if I had a rug rat running around.
I might actually disown mine in time for this year and sort of just say, look, I'm really sorry, guys, but, you know, they're not mine anymore. So anything you were going to give to them, you can now give to me.
Just give to me.
Yeah.
Or just say, look, Joel's 18 now, no longer a child.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll just have his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I definitely didn't get any shit ones.
No,
I mean,
neither did I.
Obviously, I have been gramming about the new Peloton wanker shit that I...
So many people have messaged me saying, in dickish behaviour, you've got to talk about Ange with her one Peloton.
You know, so that was a pretty, you know, Pats, you know, I don't know whether our OG/listeners know, but I don't really like bikes. I have a problem with bikes.
Oh no, you've got a massive problem with bikes.
I don't like bikes. I don't like riding bikes. I don't really like people who ride bikes.
No.
I don't like lycra, all that sort of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I was a bit apprehensive about the Peloton because I was like, it's just not going to be me. I'm really not going to like it.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I've done a total... Is it 180?
180. We've had this chat before. It's a 180, mate. You've done a 180 on the bike thing.
I've done a total bojo.
Yeah.
I've done a complete Yui. Yeah.
You've done a Yui.
I've done a Yui. Yeah. And I am definitely becoming...
a one Peloton wanker.
Yes. Yeah.
When I FaceTimed you yesterday, were you drinking out of the one Peloton glass bottle? I think you were.
Of course.
You are a wanker.
I mean, if you've got a glass one Peloton bottle, you shitting use it, Pat.
Yeah. Well, look, mine arrived on the 20th of Jan. They were very kindly presents from our brother.
Yes.
And we know that we're very, very lucky, especially in these like times where you are restricted in what you can do. Like, I think I'm not going to Instagram about mine. I've already made that decision. I've already decided. I'll tell you what. Shall I tell you why? Shall I tell you why? This will actually crack you up, I think. I learned a lot of shit when I started to document my couch to 5K.
Do you know what? I knew this was actually more about...
And I got to week 4 and I fell off the face of the earth with it, and I got so many messages saying, what about your couch to 5K? I was so close just messaging back, fuck you, to a lot of people.
I knew your choice about not gramming it, because, you know, Pat, you gram... you gram the shit out of everything. So.
The only thing I don't gram is my own shit, and I've contemplated that sometimes.
So I knew, I was like, she's not gramming about this because she doesn't want any kind of accountability for it. Yeah. She's what people saying, oh, Patty, how's things with Peloton? No, I ain't doing that shit anymore.
No, I do want to keep this up because I know a lot of money's been... Like, I think that's the other thing with something like that. I know somebody, you know, couch to 5K.
Oh, it's just an app.
All I really invested in was a pair of running trainers, which I now wear all the time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whereas I know somebody's invested a lot of money in this and has paid for something.
Yeah.
And it would be really disrespectful for me not to use it. But I'm not going to grab about my progress because people on Instagram, if you miss like half a day of something, they are
all over it. Yeah. Where are you, Pat? Where's your Peloton?
So I won't be a Peloton wanker.
No.
Well, I will, but just in the privacy of my own home.
I mean, you can Peloton wank with me.
Anyway, shall we do
La big questions? So we had a message from Sarah on the gram, and she asks, do you have pink and blue jobs in your house? And how do you spread the housework?
Now, Sarah, I think both Ange and I have a problem with the term pink and blue jobs.
Absolutely. Straight away, Sarah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're trying to give jobs the pink band and the blue band. And no.
Well, I think your blue bands are your, like, fixing of your cars, your car washes.
I know, but why do people feel they have to band? Why do they have to say, that's a blue job? You know, it's like putting the bins up, that's a blue job.
That's the blue job.
You know, putting oil in the car, that's a blue job. You know, I just don't see the point in that. I'm just like, we'll just separate shit out. But
do you know what I've noticed? Blue jobs happen far less frequently than pink jobs. Yes. It's basically the main difference. I mean, putting oil in the car, that happens like, what, twice a year?
Yeah. And predominantly blue jobs tend to be outside.
Yeah.
It's basically anything out of the house is blue. So your cars, your garden, your garage.
Doing a dump run. That's a blue job. I think we've been to the dump like 3 times the whole time we've been together in 10 years.
Yeah.
I've hoovered more than 3 times, if that's a fucking pink job. Let me tell you.
Exactly. Yeah. It definitely is more like that.
I mean, I think growing up, we had a house that was very pink and blue.
Yeah, and I kind of see that does tend to sort of naturally happen.
Not in our house.
No, I know. And you are very, what's the word? Strict.
Oh, no. No, I think I'm just proactive in making the point that we both create the mess, therefore we both tidy it up.
Sure, yeah. But I am a bit shit with things like putting oil in a car, putting air in my tyres. I'll admit that. And I feel actually, Patty, that is something I can work on in 2021. I think goal. I could sort of say, right, you know what? I will be responsible for my car. I will learn how to put air in my tyres. I'll learn how to put oil in my car. I'll fill up the screen wash shit, all that malarkey.
I mean, I already do all of that on my own car, so... Do
you, Pats?
Yeah. I mean, it's different now if you've got a newer car with oil, because it will tell you need an oil service, and they do all of that oil change and stuff like that. It's slightly different now if you've got a newer car. Like, you don't have to do the dipstick oil stuff.
Dipsticks.
But I keep up with the maintenance of my own car. I mean, I don't ever clean it. I leave that to Mal.
Yeah.
but I do keep up with the maintenance.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just got a problem with pink and blue jobs.
Yeah, same. And I just think you just have to share the load, and that means sharing it inside and outside. You know, I'm quite.
Agreed.
I don't mind a bit of gardening. I don't mind a bit of digging, weeding, mowing the lawn. I do all that shit. So you know, I think as long as you're able to share it and it be relatively equal, then I think that's the main thing. Yeah. So there we go, Sarah.
That's what we thought, Sarah. And the other big question that we had was off the back of me putting up on Instagram, because obviously, as we've already alluded to, I live my life through the gram.
Yes, absolutely.
And I put up a picture of the Domino's cookies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And somebody said, here's a big question for you. What makes a good cookie? And that was from James on the gram.
Interesting. That is an interesting question, that one.
It's an interesting big question, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Now, I think the thing about a Domino's cookie that is so good is the gooey centre.
You goo. Yeah.
We all like a runny middle.
Oh, absolutely, mate, yeah. Whether you're talking cookies or eggs.
Or anything else. We all like a spillage of goo.
Yeah. That sort of overspill of, get that.
Ooh. You love doing it.
I do like it.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah, I do it a lot. I do it to myself a lot.
You do, in any sort of setting.
Yeah, I sort of like to bring that out.
Well, it's been duly noted.
Okay.
But the thing about a Domino's cookie is it's got a crisp edge.
Yes.
And then it's soft in the middle.
Yes. And I think that is absolutely what a cookie should be.
That's what I think.
Yeah. You sort of outer edge needs to be sort of a nice crunch, a good crisp.
If it's too flaccid, it's bad. If it's too hard, it's bad. If you've got an overly flaccid cookie or or an overly hard cookie. Neither works.
Basically, what you want for your cookie is a semi-lob-on.
And what you get from a Domino's cookie is a semi-lob-on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it amazing.
So any cookie makers out there, if you could really try and perfect the semi-cookie, you're onto a winning formula.
You'll have
my opinion,
queuing up for that one.
James, on the gram, if you're listening, is what makes a good cookie.
A semi-lob-on cookie.
Now, I am excited this week for this segment.
I'm hoping I'm not going to let you down.
We've had conversations where you've said, I've got a thing for what gets on my shitting tits.
Yes, I have.
And we've held off talking about it so that there is a real reaction.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Ange, what's been getting on your shitting tits?
Right, okay. So I have held on to this experience since Christmas Eve.
Shit.
And I've not told a soul about it because I was like, I just want to save it.
Not even your family?
No, I've not told a soul. This has remained in my head since Christmas Eve.
Wow.
So, the thing that gets on my shitting tits is public displays of affection. Right? Yes.
Not expecting.
And I will tell you the story that I witnessed on Christmas Eve, right?
Oh God!
Honestly, I'm actually quite excited to share it now because I haven't told a soul.
Yeah.
So it's Christmas Eve, it's brimming. I'm building this up, guys. I really hope it's not going to be disappointing. Christmas Eve, as you know, most people were sort of running around doing last minute bits. Had to pop to Marks and Spencer's to get myself a ham because I wanted to do myself a ham.
Sure.
So get to as with loads of places, massive shitting queue.
Yes.
Got in it, stood in the queue. In front of me, for quite a while, was just a guy on his own. And everyone's obviously, even outside, people have got their masks on.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Adhering to hands, face, space.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm stood there, the guy in front of me stood there, we've both got our masks on, everything's fine. Right. Anyway, about 5 minutes or so goes by, and obviously his lady friend, woman,
partner,
whatever, comes up. So she comes up and straight away she's like touching his arse and, you know, really quite. And I'm like, all right, guys, we're in a freaking queue here. Like, just back off a bit, yeah. She's touching his arse. She's sort of having. The next thing, right? She's got her mask on as well. Right, so they're both masked up.
Yeah.
They start pashing
through
with their masks on. Yeah.
No,
I'm honestly, honest to God, this happened. They're all over.
They're tonguing their masks.
Yes.
This is fucking brilliant.
In the queue outside Marks and Spencer's, they are all, and he's still got his back to me. She's at the front of him. God knows doing what with a fucking mask on.
With a cookie. she's fumbling around for a cookie, quick as anything.
But she's hands all down around his bum. Like, honestly,
my God.
And this went on, like, the pashing, the mask pashing went on for about 5 minutes, right?
Were they wearing those disposable masks? Because think about the pash rash. I mean, pash rash can be bad enough but those disposable masks, they're fucking itchy, man.
I think he definitely had a disposable. I can't remember what she had.
He's going to have big time pash rash.
Oh, but so for 5 minutes they're at it. Then they sort of, you know, kind of realise, actually we're in a queue, we'll better sort of calm down a bit.
With our masks.
Yeah. But and then even sort of just what they kind of relaxed on the pashing, but she's still feeling his backside and he's sort of turning around. I swear at one point he sort of did a little thrust, a little minor thrust. honestly,
that does not get a.
That is disgusting. That is disgusting. And so I stood in this queue the whole time thinking, this is going on podcast. I'm talking about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it just led me to thinking about this whole, just the public displays of affection thing. Some people
it's too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're outside Marks and Spencer's. You don't need to be doing this.
We do not need to see you
snogging each other's face off with a mask on.
I can't believe they must have pulled their mask down a bit.
No, because at one point they kind of slightly went to the side so I could see both of them. And they both fully masked up. They didn't put their mask down at all at it. Honestly, it was the weirdest thing.
That is so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has anyone ever pashed through a mask? Can somebody message in and let us know if you've ever done any pashing through a mask?
Through these COVID times.
Oh, no.
Honestly.
I like a handhold, a little peck on the cheek, maybe, or the lips, you know, if you're going off in separate directions or whatever.
You know, all of those things, I get it. That's fine. Got no issue. But when you are basically kind of sort of foreplaying in a public domain, that shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be happening. Save it for your home. Save it for your bedroom. I don't need to see
when
it.
You don't have to wear a shitting mask.
Yeah. Or clothes, if that's, you know, the vibe you're going for.
Well, that is a very good what gets on my shitting tits.
So there we go, guys.
Definitely worth the wait.
I feel a sense of relief now I have shared.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I've got that off my chest now.
We had some great dickish behaviours in. This one actually came in at the back end of last year, and it's from Matt on Instagram. But we saved it because obviously we had guests, and we thought this was a really good one. It needed its own sort of
platform
place. So Matt says, someone who starts a story with long story short, but gives you a very long story, then halfway through says again, long story short, but continues to give you chapter and verse of the whole thing. Don't say long story short if it's a long fucking story. That is dickish.
And I know of so many people who do that shit.
Same.
Some people don't even do the whole sort of long story short. They'll just give you the long story.
When people are like, it happened on Wednesday, or was it Tuesday? Hang on a second, no. It must have been Tuesday, because I think we had steak for dinner. Yeah, no, it was, because Wednesday we had shepherd's pie.
And then they refer to partner. Sorry, was it Thursday or was it Wednesday? It was Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday.
Like,
it was Wednesday.
I don't give a shit.
And I remember that because I nearly shat myself in Tesco, so I definitely know it was Wednesday. Like, it's all of that, like, referring back to their day.
Yeah.
To, like, I don't need to know what you had for dinner. And then the end of the story is like, so they start with, you're never going to bloody believe this, like, Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. They get to the end of the story and it's like, yeah, and she went to the doctors. She had a gammy foot and she went to the doctors. And you're like, okay.
Is that it? Is that whole story for that?
Bad foot and she went to the doctors. Just a heads up, that's a shit story. Long story short, no, that's just a shit story, mate.
And I didn't need to know, and you just wasted 20 minutes of my life.
Yeah, which I'm never getting back.
Yeah, thanks, Pamela.
Yeah, and it is annoying when people, because you think, okay, you're going to give me the short, but when people do say long story short, you think, I'm going to get the short one first.
I'm just going to get the highlights. All I need are the highlights.
And I sort of think, what's the long version? if that's the cut down version, holy shit, I'd have been here for 3 days if you'd have told me the long version. That is like, and it is dickish.
Oh, it is so dickish.
I'll just tell you the top lines because it's quite a long story. So yeah. So we're with you, Matt. That is very dickish.
100%, Matthew.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, so some great dickish behaviours. We've kicked off the year really well. Thanks so much, guys.
You.
And you know, these episodes are only good, really, aren't they? Because of what
you send us. Yeah.
Honestly, we would
you send stuff in, we go through it and go, shit, that's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
Like
that
we absolutely rely on and need that input from you guys. So please continue, guys.
And obviously don't forget, just quickly before we go on to the last bit, our Facebook page is big time up and running. Ange and I, we've not been on it much over the last couple of weeks. But you know, don't forget to check in there, because that is,
and we will also be, this is it guys, now this is going to be heavy on the push. So get ready for a lot of finding the funny coming your way. Pushing.
Get ready for the pushing. And get if you're on Facebook, get over to Finding the Funny with Ruth and Ange podcast. Like it, start commenting, send us stuff on there, we'll reply, we'll get it on the show.
Get it on the show. We'll get it on the show.
We will get it on the show.
Yeah.
And we had a bit more of a excuse me, sorry. We had a bit more of a serious message came in, and this was from Betty. And Betty said, "Hi Ruth and Ange. I find it really hard when people stop talking to you when an event happens in your life that makes them feel uncomfortable. I lost my baby last February when I was 17 weeks pregnant. I had a termination for medical reasons, as my son had a severe brain defect. So many friends just dropped off the face of the planet. Even worse, some just pretended it never happened, never spoke about it, or said sorry for our loss. My mum said she experienced the same thing when she got cancer. It's just shocking. I found more support this year in total strangers than my own friends and family, and for that I am very grateful. Betty."
Oh man, Betty. That is a really tough situation to be in, and I think you are absolutely one of hundreds of thousands of people that have been in the same place you are. You know, whether that's through losing a baby or from illness or losing another loved one, and it's just, I just don't. I get that sometimes people don't know what to say, but not saying anything is actually far worse, in my opinion. Like, you just, you know, even if you don't know, you can even say that. You know, you can even say to someone, "Look, I really don't know what to say in this situation, but I just wanted you to know I'm thinking of you. If there's anything I can do to help you," acknowledging it in some way is always the best way. Even if you find it hard, even if you don't really know how to address it or what to say, just say something. And I actually, I'm in these situations, I really think that texting is a really good way of making contact with people, because it's a way of just sort of, you know, being able to contact them, telling that you are there, you're thinking of them, you're sorry for their loss, if there's anything you can do. But actually it means that they don't have to respond. You know, it's just a way of sort of putting out that olive branch, letting them know. And that's sometimes all people want, is to know that people haven't forgotten about me or have just ignored the situation and what I'm going through.
I'll never forget, well, our cousin Daryl died when he was 21. He was killed very suddenly in a road traffic accident, and I was really young at the time. I don't really remember Daryl, but and I remember our Auntie Joy, who has also now passed away, but I remember her saying really clearly to me, "Oh yeah, when Daryl died, I'd watch people cross to the other side of the road rather than come and talk to me." And I think, you know, the loss of anybody in your life is awful, but the loss of a child at any point, whether that's through miscarriage or termination for medical reasons, which is something that is so not talked about, and I think it's such a difficult decision when you're faced with that and you think, gosh, what's the right thing to do for my baby here? But I think the loss of a child is so odd. It goes against nature, doesn't it? It's you never expect that you're going to be whatever age you lose a child, you never expect that you're going to bury your children. And I'll never forget that. And I think that sort of stuck with me, because I vividly remember talking to Auntie Joy about that time in her life when Daryl died, and you know, just how difficult it was for them as a family. And he was obviously only 21. And I think that sort of, I don't know, I think it sort of put something in me that said, gosh, I don't want anyone to ever feel that isolated. or that alone, like that I am not a safe person if they need to just cry or to get really angry or to be pissed off. I don't want anyone to be walking down the street and feel like my auntie did in that moment, that like people would rather swerve it and avoid it. And I think you're right. I think it's sometimes just about saying, I've never stood in your shoes. Exactly. I don't know what this is
not
like.
Pretending
I can't say I understand.
Yeah. Like, it's not even about actually having to talk. It's just about saying, I am really sorry, and I am here to just be that listening ear, or to just be able to give you a hug, or... And I think sometimes people think they have to have all the answers. They have to be able to go and say that, oh, look, you need to do this, that, and the other, or find some... And I get it. I think a lot of the time that's people's kind of immediate go-to, or what can I do to help this situation?
Want to fix stuff, don't they,
that practical sort of... Which is obviously, equally as helpful to lots of people in lots of different situations. But I think that initial point of contact with someone who has lost someone they love is just a matter of saying, I am sorry and I'm here for you in whatever capacity you need me to be. A really really close friend of mine, one of my sort of best friends, lost her mum just before Christmas, and I think, I don't know, I think probably I find it not easy, but I don't ever find it difficult to talk to people like that find themselves in those really sad, awful, horrible situations. I think it's probably just a bit of our nature. I think that's it comes relatively easy to me, and I sort of sometimes think I realise how sometimes people find that very difficult, because it's just not a natural instinct to them. So I get that sometimes it's a bit about personality and how you are in yourself. Yeah. But all I did for my friend Rachel, because I know her as well, and I know how she will and she's very much just kind of wants to hide herself away for a bit, and I get that sort of that. I just want to hibernate. I don't want to see anyone. I get it. Yeah. And so I dropped a card and a bunch of flowers at her door, and then on the day of her mum's funeral, I put another card through her door, because I just wanted her to know that I was thinking of her, that I loved her. Yeah. And actually, I think sometimes that's a really good way of, sometimes texts are great, but sometimes maybe feel a bit impersonal. Yeah. So I think if you're in a position that you can send a card or pop a card through the door, I think things like that mean so much to people who are grieving.
I also think never underestimate like cooking a meal and putting it on somebody's doorstep. Exactly. And stuff like that. Those, and I think that was one thing that we watched our mum do a lot. Bake cakes, cook for people. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to drop this round to so and so. They've had this terrible news, or I've just heard this. Our mum was forever kind of looking over the fence, thinking, my God,
how can I help?
Yeah, like that. Like I'm just, I don't know what else to do, but I've dropped a lasagna on your doorstep. Yeah. You can chuck it in the oven. Yeah.
Put it in the freezer, whatever.
You don't have to think about meals for the next couple of days. There's, putting a card with that as well. I think anything that just says to people, I'm on your team. Here. Yeah. I'm stood with you. Yeah. And whenever you're ready, whether that's now, next week, next month, in 6 months, whenever you are ready to talk about this,
where I am.
Yeah. I want to relive those memories of that person that you have loved and lost. Yeah. So I think, firstly, Betty, what a really brave message to send.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And obviously we are so heartbroken that you had to make that decision and go through that, situation. And I think to anyone, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, sometimes it's not about us, is it?
No.
Finding the funny. Finding the funny with Ruth and Ange. Finding the funny.
Thank you so much for listening. We really hope you've enjoyed this episode. You can find us both on Instagram. I'm at Ruth Corden.
And I'm at Ange Corden.
Alternatively, you can send us an email, hello@ruthcorden.com. And while you're at it, would you mind going and giving us a great review and 5 stars on Apple Podcasts? We'll be back next week helping you to find more of the funny.